Yeah, I'm back again. So just a quick, so you can understand why I'm doing the second one. I wanted to do one video just to kind of give everyone a rough rundown of what's going on with me and a little bit of what I experienced and what the outcome was. Um, I'm a Wilhelmina model now, best thing in the world. But I didn't want to hold everybody up. I didn't know if I know it got kind of late. I was supposed to be doing this at 10 o'clock, but I ended up having a lot of traffic on the bus. I mean, it was a lot of traffic on the bus ride down. So if you're interested in the full story, because I told y'all a little bit of how it happened, but that wasn't the whole thing. So I'm gonna kind of run through the whole story just to see, just so y'all can hear it. I think people need to hear this. People need to see it. So we got Asia back. What's up, Asia? Big Cuz, Keisha, yep. You another reason I had to do this video over because Philly wouldn't have been Philly without you. It wouldn't have been Philly without you. I wouldn't be sitting here making this story right now if it weren't for my big cousin, Rakisha. Hey, Lachelle, what's going on? So look, let me kind of run it down for you. When I initially got into Philly, like I said, it was maybe 2 in the morning. The bus stop that I was at was like a 30-minute drive from the agency, but it was like a 4-hour walk. And when I got off the bus, I didn't know how I was gonna get there. I had $40 in cash. Taxis is expensive, so I didn't know how I was gonna get there. So when I got off, I started walking down the street. Didn't know where I was going, but I saw this guy on the side of the road. He was having an issue with his tire. He had a flat tire. And it looked like he was having a hard time. So I was like, let me help this man out with his tire. So I asked him, I was like, sir, you need some help with your tire? And he was like, look, man, I only got $5. I don't have a lot of money, blah, blah, blah. And I said, look, I don't need the money. I don't need your money. I just want to help you out. Like, you're having a hard time. So I helped him out, took the lug nuts off, changed his tire. And while we were going through the whole process, he was kind of asking me what was going on. He's like, so what are you doing here? I was like, I have a meeting with a modeling agency. He was like, where is it? I'm like, it's at this place. I didn't know where it was, or what it was called. But he was like, how are you getting there? And I was like, I don't know. I really don't know how I'm getting there. I was like, I'm probably going to walk. And he was like, that's like you can't walk that. So long story short, I helped him out fixing his car tire, and he gave me a ride to the agency. And that's how I showed up at the agency at 2 a.m. I got a ride from a stranger whose car tire I changed. He dropped me off over there. And that's where I began to just walk around, because it was 12 hours before my meeting. It was 2 a.m. I had to meet with them at 2 p.m. So I'm just outside, cold. I got the little scarf thing up covering my mouth, got the gloves on, all that, and I'm just walking through Philly. Don't know where I'm at, just walking. And when I got tired, I kind of just found this little spot. It was like a wall. There was a wall. Then above it was a parking lot, but it was a wall. I thought it'd be good, to block some of the wind. So I sat my bag down, and I sat on my bag, and I tried to sleep in like 22-degree weather. And that lasted for maybe an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. And like I mentioned, at one point when I kind of woke up, and it was like a fox. It was a fox just like less than 30 yards from me. So I got real quiet. I'm like, oh crap, this could be bad. It's an animal. And at that point, I realized how dangerous it was, what I was doing. I'm sitting outside in 25-degree weather. You don't know what's gonna walk up on you. I'm by train tracks too, so that kind of made me be a little more cautious of where I was. So I got up and I started walking. And initially in my mind, I was like, I'm gonna try to find a hotel. Um, I'm gonna try to find a hotel or something, you know. So I just started walking, and I passed one church, and I was like, well, you know what? A church would be a good idea. You know, some churches have places where the pastor or somebody would stay overnight in there. So I was like, you know, maybe that'll be a good idea. But I just kept walking, looking for a hotel. Um, I even saw a 7-Eleven, and it crossed my mind, like, I could say, like, all right, I might just go in there and say, look, guy, I'll sweep the floor. I'll clean the bathroom. I'll do whatever. I just need some place to lay down for a couple of hours because it's freezing. So I didn't stop at the 7-Eleven. I just kept going, kept going. And I was ready to, I didn't see anything. So I was making a U-turn. I was ready to go back to the same spot I was at. And I just kept walking, and I saw this other church on the side, on my right side. And I was like, well, why not give it a shot? And I turned the corner to go to the main door. And as soon as I turned the corner, a car turned with me. And he goes in front of me and he stops. But there's a stop sign there. So I'm thinking he's just stopping at a stop sign and go roll on through. But he actually stops and gets out of the car. And we get to the door at the same time. He goes in. He's kind of skeptical of me because he looked like he's trying to, you know, get in the door and like close it behind him. So he walked in and he went upstairs, and I walked in behind him and stood there for a second, you know, kind of calling out. And when he came back down, he was an Asian gentleman. I'm going to assume he was Chinese because he said that his son was in China when I talked to him later. So his name was Pastor Lee. I said, and I talked to him. I said, look, I'm from out of town. I don't have anywhere to go. It's cold. I have a meeting at 2 p.m. tomorrow. Can I stay here until 12 p.m.? That's all I need. And he asked me a couple questions, and then he said, well, I'm only going to be here until 7:30, and you're more than welcome to stay here until 7:30 with us. As a matter of fact, we're about to have a prayer meeting, a prayer service, so join us in prayer. And when he instantly said that, I mean, the tears just came out. You know, I was just overcome because it's like I just saw how amazing God was. You know, in that moment, it was everything was just too perfect at that moment. You know, the timing was perfect, the place was perfect, and even the person was perfect. So it was just, I was just overcome. And we go upstairs and we go into the sanctuary and we begin to pray. They're praying in Chinese. And I'm just in my head, you know, just, you know, giving all the praise and all the glory to God, because, you know, it was no one but him, you know, who got me to that location. And so I end up falling asleep because I'm tired. I hadn't been asleep that whole night. And he wakes me up at 7:30, and we go over to the McDonald's and we talk and we eat and we have coffee, and he leaves at about 8 o'clock, and I stay at the McDonald's until about 12 o'clock. I change my clothes in the McDonald's bathroom, and then I make my way down to the agency where I went in. I submitted for acting and modeling. I did really good. I'm not going to give you too many details about their process because that's their process. I don't want to put it out there, but I did good. And it was like, okay, if we like you, we'll give you a call on Monday. And I was going over my portfolio with the head director, and she knew who I was automatically. She was like, yeah, I know who you are. But they made a comment about my hair. She said, your hair's not the same color, and it's a little bit longer. So they was like, okay, well, if we like you, we'll call you on Monday. So I'm leaving at that point. How did I get back to the bus station? Oh, right. I'm leaving out of the agency, and at that point, so you know the agency is like 30. It's a 30-minute drive from the agency to the bus station, and it's just like a 4-hour walk. And when I walked out of there, I didn't know how I was gonna get there. And it was another thing that I had to figure out. I didn't know how I was gonna get there. So I'm standing outside of the door, and one of the other models just comes out and he's talking to me, We just small talking, and he's like, look, man, I'm about to call an Uber. So I was like, yo, you mind if I hop in? I had cash at that point, so I could pay him something, but I didn't have anything on the card. So he was like, nah, man, don't worry about it. Just hop in. And that's how I got back to the bus station. I had enough money to buy my bus ticket back to Richmond from what I had left over. So it just all kind of worked out perfectly, man. And that's my testimony there. So that was that day. I ended up having to go back to DC instead of Richmond, which also ended up to be a blessing in disguise, because I had to turn around and go right back up to Philly on Thursday. So from Saturday to today, I was in DC, and but I didn't know I had to come back until Monday. But they actually called me on Monday, called me at about 12 p.m. and I'm like, I was like, hey, this is Wilhelmina, and I was just like, what? Like, I couldn't speak. I really couldn't speak. I'm not exaggerating. And they was like, yeah, this is your congratulatory call. We wanna sign you with the agency. Come back up Thursday, and we'll sign the contract. They actually sent me the contract that Monday, but we had to do an official signing today, so I had to go back up to Philly on today, which is today, to do that. And so then I had to come up with, how am I gonna get back up there now? How am I gonna get a bus there? How am I gonna get around the city? And how am I gonna get a bus back home? And when I tell you, there's a couple people I had to write them down, just because sometimes I wish I would have mentioned it in the last video, but I'm kind of forgetful about stuff. So I want to shout out my cousin Kim, big cousin Kim. I want to shout out my aunt Pat. I want to shout out my big cousin Keisha. I want to shout out Kendrick and Daggy for letting me crash at their spot. My little sister, Missy, her girlfriend Mika, my man Adolphus. Adolphus looked over the contract for me and sent it back to me. Let me know it was good to go. So and also Pastor Lee. Pastor Lee was the Asian gentleman who let me stay in the church with him. Took me to McDonald's and stuff like that. And also today, Pastor Lee is the guy who took me from the bus station to the agency to sign the contract. I called him up. He gave me his phone number before he left McDonald's. He was like, if you have an emergency, give me a call. And I called him up and let him know. It's like, look, man, they want to sign me, but I'm coming back into town, and I need a way around. He said, don't worry about it, man, I got you. And he just, with no problem. So that's pretty much how it went. A lot of you guys watched the other video, so you kind of know the other stuff that happened. I think I went over it in detail. So I just appreciate all y'all checking the video out. I know I'm stumbling a little bit. I'm trying to get better with speaking on camera. But just shout out to everybody who's been behind me, who've been supporting me, who've been telling me, T, you can do it, this and that. Family came up big this time for me. And everybody I mentioned, I want to say I really appreciate it. I love y'all for real. I ain't gonna make this one too long too. It's gonna seem like it's gonna be a long video, but that's just where I'm at right now. We're just gonna keep going, keep pushing, keep grinding. I got a lot of stuff that I'm looking at getting into for 2017. And we just gonna keep going hard at it, man. If you got a dream in your head, just go. Just go. Y'all be easy, man. I'm out.